Good morning, everyone. Welcome to
Morning.
Circle. I'm here with my co-hosts, Tammy Hudgen, Tracy Evans, Lynn Pelser, and I am Heather Meeks. Happy February, everyone. I feel like our topic today is absolutely perfect for this month of love.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we planned that either.
No, but it's,
That's right. It's Valentine's Day this month.
Absolutely.
Cool. We did not plan that.
No, we didn't plan that, but perfect nonetheless. Today we are talking about the 5 love languages.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who aren't familiar, hang tight because we are going to get you up to speed with what love language may be yours and how you can use that to benefit your relationships, whether romantic, friendship, business,
kids.
absolutely. So I am going to throw it over to Lynn. Lynn is going to start us off today.
Thank you. So I don't know, you guys, we all did the test, right?
Yeah.
So there is this one we're doing, there's different love language kind of things you can do, but the one we're doing is the 5 love languages. That's what it's called. So you can Google it. I think we put the link in.
Yeah, you put the link. You did.
I did.
You put the link in the Circle Show, didn't you? Oh, no.
That was our private.
That was our private
will
link for us
after.
to do it.
The link. Yeah,
Because there is a free test.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take you too long. And you can find out what is your love language. So there is 5 of them. And the value in it is how to relate to people. So not only do you figure it out for yourself, but you can figure it out for a friend, a family member, your child, somebody you work with. They have it for singles, which I didn't do. I did the one that's for couples.
Yeah, I did the couples one.
Yeah. So when you go to the website, you will see you can do couples, singles, teen, or child. So your child or your teen can do it also. So you can find out what makes them tick, right? So it's like, I want to show you that I love you. And if I'm doing it in a way that means nothing to you, then it's falling on deaf ears. So you can see how that could be difficult for people, right?
Yeah.
So my husband, for instance, loves gifts. So the 5 of them are, I'm going to tell you. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So words of affirmation are one. So we all know what that is, right? It's like, good job. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're funny. Like, it's just nice things. Yeah. Encouraging words or telling you that you've done great and that you are great. Quality time. Some people, it's all about just being together. Like, that means the most to them. That means you love me, right? Acts of service. Well, that would be.
That's my mother. I would walk into the house at my mom's place and she can't feed you fast enough. She wants to do things for you. They come to my barn. They're cleaning bars in the barn before they come to the house. Like, that's my mother.
And the interesting thing is it gogoes both ways, what you're saying. So if you rank high on acts of service, likely you like doing acts of service and you like receiving them. Because most of the time we like to do the thing that we like. We're like, well, that makes sense to me. That I love you. I made you,
this is all I understand. So
that's right.
You can make me
thinking about my mother.
You can make me pierogies too, because I love pierogies.
She makes pierogies. Physical touch is another one. And so, honestly, when I look at them, I'm like, oh, every guy is like, that's my number one. But it doesn't mean just that. It's anything. It's like, I like to be close to you. I want to, I like
holding hands.
It's
even that gentle touch when you're sitting there, and just a touch on the back.
That's my husband. Like, even on the couch, he wants to be really close.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Bubble!
right?
Whereas I actually scored high on personal touch. That was my second one, and I had 9. I got rated 9 on personal touch. Personal touch is really important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
but it wasn't my number one.
I think these can sometimes change over the years because I've done it and I ranked differently now than I did the first time I did it, which was nearly a decade ago. So the last one is, and it's the last on my list, is receiving gifts. So some people like to give gifts and they like to receive gifts. And sometimes they are, I think some of the people who, I imagine, because I'm not in this category at all, you might love to make your gift look beautiful. You're very thoughtful about the gifts. I'm just like, whatever.
I just wrap it in paper, done, or a bag. There's no card, there's no ribbon, there's nothing.
Right, but here's the thing. So the person who is high on gifts, that is high on their list. If you don't do something thoughtful for their birthday or for the birthday, And it could be just random gifts. So my little one, it's gifts. So she's like, if I travel somewhere and I bring her like some little $2 anything, she's like, wow, I got a gift. It means you love me. You're thinking of me, right? My husband likes gifts too. His birthday's this week.
Oh,
And I'm always like,
you better get out
I
shopping.
know. I got him something. I'm not going to say. Yes. Oh, let's say hi to everybody who joined us first before I pause. I want to. Can't.
You've done it.
Can you not roll down? You can't even scroll down?
Oh,
there we go.
I am scrolled down.
Tiziana, Pamela, Deborah, Leanne, Wendy, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, lots of love to all of you.
It wasn't all of your eyesight.
So, yeah. So for the love languages, and I think if we can all share about ours, that might be really helpful to learning about it. But the value you get is knowing about yourself and knowing what's going on with your relationships. It's like, why do I feel like I don't feel loved enough by whoever? It could be your parent, right? Growing up, maybe you didn't feel that love because they had a totally different love language to understand. But when we understand it, we can be more mindful. So yes, I'm buying gifts for my husband, whereas I'm like, hey, why don't we just get ourselves something? Like, I know what I like. Make it easy. It means nothing to me. And he's like, I don't love me. You didn't buy me something. So I have to. Right?
Yeah.
Whether I like it or enjoy it or not, I'm doing that because I do love him. So I want him to feel loved.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my ranking. And so when you do the test, you'll get an email, and it's free. There's no strings attached to it. There is a book too if you want to read like all details and stuff. But for the love languages, you do the test, and then it comes back and tells you how many questions you scored in each area so that it ranks you. So you don't just have one, you have a few that are important to you. So I had 10 of words of affirmation and 9 of quality time, 8 of acts of service, 3 on physical touch, and 0 on gifts. And I would go, I would have thought acts of service was right at the top. But, when 10, 9, 8, they were all pretty close for me of those things. So interesting, when we did this years ago, my husband started doing things for me. Acts of service rated about the highest at that time. And so he started doing things like filling up my car with gas. Like, that's getting him brownie points, right? Or he would empty the dishwasher when it was, he didn't really have time to do it, but he would do that. So some of those things, now he does love to say, acts of service, look what I did. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. So
We love to just
They make sure we know.
Yeah.
They make sure we know.
Of course. Okay. But the bottom line is that slowly over time, that's really meant a lot to me. Because I know that doesn't come naturally to him. So it's even more of a sacrifice for him to do it because he knows it's important to me. Yeah. Right? And so we kind of paid attention with our kids too. And so now it's like, oh, Sydney loves gifts.
Right.
Chloe loves words of affirmation. So now we kind of know which way to make them feel the most loved. I think it's worked.
It's really important.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tammy, so what happened for you?
So when I did mine, I chose the couples relationship one.
Yep.
And the highest one for me, 10, was, oh my God, I just forgot the names of the categories.
Yeah, I wrote them down here. So
sorry, it was quality time was my 10. And in the relationship with Doug. And then my second one was physical touch. That came in at a 9. The others, it then jumped down to 7 and then went really low. The receiving gifts, I think I had 1, if not 0. So yeah, for me, when it comes to relationships, and I think this has changed over time as well, but now I appreciate the value of having that quality time with each other. I love the physical touch, where that just holding my hand, something so simple, for me just shows that you care. At that moment, you thought about me and you grabbed my hand, or that rub on the back, right? You just instantly, for whatever reason, I might have popped into your mind, and I like to know that he's thinking of me. That's important for me. Quality time, which obviously is going to get bigger with us moving to BC because it's just him and I going. Right. So quality time I think it has to be a big part of our relationship because it's just going to be him and I.
Mhm.
Right? There is no, popping out and seeing a girlfriend. I have to make new friends and things like
Yeah.
that. So we have to be able to understand what each other likes in order for us to live together full time, because we've not made that adjustment, right? So I think that if we focus on that physical touch and quality time, for me, we'll do okay. And communication, which is not part of this, but that's the other element that I think is important, that needs to make sure it's still happening in our relationship, right? So for me, yeah, that's what it was. I'm sure if I did it, though, if I picked some of these other categories like children, well, I guess that's for your child to do.
Yes,
Right.
let them answer.
Yeah, you let them in.
Right. Oh, because it'd be okay, yeah. I kind of have an idea of what, for example, my daughter, if I was to answer it on her behalf, in essence, I probably could figure out what her is important for her, but I'd be curious to have the kids do it to see really what does mean. We think we know our children, but maybe we don't, right? So I'd be curious to have Mackenzie do one just to see if I think hers is the way I believe it is.
And what it does, I mean, you're doing it for couples, but what it is that just even me as your friend,
Yeah.
I know that you like physical touch
Yeah.
means, I mean, I'm not going to be groping you, but
But
you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
You're
Yeah.
whole
You're
other
okay
show.
with whole other show.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people are not okay.
That's
when
right.
They don't like it. They don't.
I'm
prefer
okay
it.
if
I'm
you
like,
hug me. I'm
yeah.
okay if
She's
you,
okay with that.
are sitting there rubbing my back. By all means, scratch it at the same time. Get rid of those. But I'm totally cool with that. You can walk, first time meeting me, you can walk up and give me a hug. I'm totally cool with that. Yeah.
I've had to learn to, because
To hug?
no, I'm a huge hugger. And physical touch is so important to me. Like, I swear, if there was like an 11 or a 12, that would be because it is a 10. I need that from my husband. I need it from my children. Words of affirmation was also huge for me. But I think what we have to remember, and what I have to remember, is because I am so much into physical touch and I need it so much myself, I always want to touch people, like I want to be like,
lucky
hey,
I'm not
oh my
zero.
goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. Because all we're doing is
And
we can rub your foot for you if you'd like.
but I know that, I mean, it's really easy to recognize when somebody isn't
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
right away
They
kinda get
instantly-
stiffer
yeah.
and they're like, and so I've learned to read people better, but I know that there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, oh my God.
Here comes Heather, run! She's gonna hug me!
Yeah,
She's not gonna let go!
Yeah. But it's really great when you do it, especially for the couple thing, because no matter how long I've been married, how long I've been in my relationship, you're always learning, you're always growing. And in order for it to work, it's about give and take, right?
Yeah.
So learning that my husband, he is really big on acts of service and quality time. I purposely do those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I intentionally block out time that, it's going to be him and I, or it's going to be the family. And those things go a long way. But in return, he has to, because he's very much like you, where he's like, oh my God, here's my bubble. And I'm like, can we hug?
Yeah.
So he's getting a lot better at that. So
I'm going to get Doug to do it. I'm going to send him the link and have him do it, because I'd be curious. I think I know what his will be, but I'd be curious really to see it. Right? We both are not about the gifts, so I know his will be at a 0 on that too. But
There's a 0 on that.
yeah,
I
Mine
was
wasn't a 0,
surprised
but
how
it was
low mine was for gifts, because gifts used to be a big thing for me. I like to give them. That's kind of how I show love, and I like when someone thinks of me. It's just, like you said, it doesn't have to be monumental. But I love getting cards. So during
cards
it's a hard
are
time.
great.
He forgets
Remember
the
that.
greeting
I do
card.
like
Right?
a
Don't
card.
forget the greeting card. I don't care about the gift anymore, but the greeting card. So I do like that. But for me, acts of service and quality time were higher. And I think it's because where I am in my life, acts of service means so much more to me because I have so much on my plate.
Yeah.
Right? So if you love me, you're gonna help take some of that burden, and you're gonna
That's interesting.
make life easier for both of us or whatever. So that
Like your mom and dad coming around and doing things for you
right.
to help out at the farm and so forth, right, is big.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
Really
interesting
grateful for
too. When I first did this, my kids were tiny, so acts of service was higher for me, probably because I was just
So do you believe
needed.
so this does automatically as we age will change?
I think so.
I think as
Yeah.
we get exposed more to life and really what the value of life is ultimately how this can alter us, right?
and personal
I'll
growth.
always be a hugger though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll always have the
love
personal
that
touch for
but
sure.
I do like my space when I don't like my space. Like if I'm having my alone
Yeah.
time,
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
I'm the same. If I make that decision that it's alone time for Tammy, please just let
Don't
me
bug
have my
me.
alone time.
Yeah.
Right? The phone goes, I mute my phone, right? I just shut my bedroom door. It's like, no, this is, I need this right now. Don't, please don't. Yeah.
And I don't need to snuggle while we're watching people get blown up on his movie.
We watched
Sounds
Rambo
familiar.
5 or something. I don't know which one it is, whichever version of Rambo last night. And right? And at that moment, please don't.
Yeah.
I don't want any
Not
cuddles,
even
not
that.
during that type of scene.
So what was your highest?
My highest was acts of service.
Service.
And quality
Service,
time was very
great.
close as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And gifts was the
Gifts
lowest?
was fourth. Yeah.
Okay.
It was gifts was my last one on mine. Words of affirmation was my third one. Then, I'm not sure now. I have to go back to my email. It might have been acts of service and words of affirmation might have been flipped.
Physical touch was the lowest for me, but not because I don't like it. It just doesn't equate to
Right.
love.
That's a really good
Yep,
point.
that is a good point.
It doesn't necessarily mean you are a non,
Right.
physical person. It can just mean that doesn't actually mean love to me.
Right. Yeah.
That's not how I feel loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of it is deep seated. Like I think it can some of it can your top 2 or 3 can kind of ebb and flow of what's the most important in your life. But I think some of them are sort of deep seated. Like that's my personality.
Yeah.
That's who
So
I
when we
am.
look at this though, really that this particular quiz or test that we're doing, this is not a great way though for us to use it in understanding our potential clients or our existing customers, our relationships with our friends even, because ultimately this is not an easy one, like to get those people to do. You know how there's different ones out there where you understand what color they are
Right.
or
Yep.
what
Communication style.
Right.
things like that, yeah.
you can learn that about people just by being in the same room with them. Whereas something like this, you really, I think that you would have
It's a
to
little
go
more personal.
right, for us to really understand that. Someone can come up and give you a hug, but that doesn't necessarily mean that physical touch is their top one, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this is
everything.
not, right. So this is not an easy one in the sense of using it from a marketing tool, right, for business. This is more beneficial to you from a personal perspective, right?
I think it works with friends too, though.
Yeah, if you can get your
Yeah.
friends to do it, right? It would be fun to have people do this at a networking meeting. Make this an actual activity, and maybe whoever they're sitting with at that table, they can share their top 2, and that might just give them an extra little bit edge on that relationship that they might be trying to build.
Yeah. I mean, in a team setting, I think it can translate into really understanding.
But
who you're directly working with.
What kind of category would you choose? Would you choose the singles?
Oh,
then?
you mean when you do?
Yeah, when you're physically doing the
test.
test.
Yeah,
I guess you would have to do the singles one and pretend that there's no relationship or anything. It's just who you are on. Well, I guess singles would relate to if I wanted to focus on a friendship or maybe how I work with a parent or who knows, right?
Well, it would, because if you're working closely with somebody and words of affirmation is the thing that's most important to them in a relationship. It's important to them in every relationship. Right. And I think we end up being the closest friends with people that satisfy some of those things too. It's like, you have a friend who's always doing this or that, and that translates to you that they really care. So your relationship is deeper.
But ultimately, I might answer the questions differently if I was rating or answering the questions as if I was talking about a client. a potential client,
Right.
someone who I want to target, right? I might then answer these differently because personal touch may not be so important to me at that
Right.
point. Acts of
Right.
service might be my number one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
But I even think in even a more business setting, like when you think about physical touch, it's,
yeah,
thanks
Yeah.
so much for taking the time today. Shaking a hand, that
True.
kind of thing is even physical touch,
Yeah.
right? Where some people wouldn't look at that as a connector, but others might.
It's not a romantic love. It's
I was
just
just
feeling
gonna say that.
cared
Yeah.
for.
I was
It's
gonna say
feeling
that. It's not
cared
romantic.
for.
Yeah.
I think when people see, 5 love languages, it automatically triggers romance.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be.
But if you think when you're in a networking situation and you like physical touch, and even for me, when I'm talking to somebody, I will often, like as I'm leaving, go, "Great to meet you," or
Right.
if I'm not hugging, because we're not at the hugging stage yet.
Right.
I still will find a way to
Got the bubble
Yeah,
going.
that touch,
yeah, I'll bust out of my bubble and
Yeah.
touch an arm or something like that.
But the person who you work, let's say you work in an office together or you meet
Yeah.
occasionally for something in your team, you bring them a coffee.
Yeah.
You bring them their, maybe that's a gift or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it's the act of
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
it's like you kind of get to know people that actually like that and appreciate it. And some people it's just like, oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
But
Well,
other people
same
it
with the
really means
affirmation.
something.
Yeah.
I would love for the members of our circle here to do this
Mhm.
and actually write a post and tell us what your top 2 were
Yeah.
and how you feel that related to who you are. I would love to know if you feel that truly was a true testament of who you are, what you expect in a relationship or so forth. So would love to see those guys.
And try it with your kids if you have kids or
Yeah.
your spouse or
Yeah.
your partner, because
I think,
honestly,
it
you're
can
gonna learn
enhance
a
your
lot.
relationship,
Yeah,
right?
when
'Cause-
you're missing it, like when you don't know that that's what the other person needs and it's not your love language, that's where stuff goes off the charts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like if gifts mean nothing to me and to some of you guys, if the other person, it's hi to them and their birthday
Yeah.
passes or whatever it is, you travel and you don't bring anything back. Maybe even that way they think, oh, well, if you were thinking of me, you would have.
right.
There's this internal story that starts going on.
Absolutely.
They're like, well, everyone in the world thinks the way we all think the same
Right,
way,
yeah.
right? If I like gifts, you like
Group
gifts.
of one.
Right.
Yeah.
I know
What?
Mackenzie receiving gifts. For Mackenzie, receiving gifts I believe would be high on her list.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is on my little ones. for
Yeah, I'm
sure.
pretty sure. Matthew, I don't know. I'm going to say acts of service. I think for him, based on how who he is, but I really don't know. It'd be interesting. I at least I could get Mackenzie to do it. I don't know if Matthew would do it, but it'd be really cool to find out.
Mhm.
Right. So what are we at
Just
there,
check.
guys? I think we're oh geez, we're like
Jessica
done.
joined us. Salima, Leanne said, highly suggest getting the book. Yes, because
Yeah,
it's
it's a
going to
great
fill in
book.
Much
all
more
the
detail.
blanks.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
we should be hashtagging them and see if they want to send us some books.
Get some.
I
Hey,
have
that's
a
a
book.
good idea. Wouldn't that be good if we could get people to donate stuff that we could give
Wouldn't
away
it?
on the show?
Wouldn't it? Let's get on that. Good morning,
Uh-huh.
Deborah. Deborah
So by
says-
all means, reach out if you want to donate something, and we could do some random draws or something.
C-list instead of the
That would
O
be
list.
fun.
Yeah.
9 acts of service, 7 words of affirmation.
Is
Where,
that
where,
something
where? Oh,
different?
Paula.
Yeah.
9.
Paula.
Okay, Paula Martin, thank you. Look at you. You are the
Nice.
star of the show. Because you've already done it. 9 acts of service, 7 words of affirmation, 6 physical touch, 6 for quality time, and 2 for receiving gifts. That's awesome.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Paula.
Paula.
Paula, if you can answer quickly that we could see it. Did you do this before the show, like because of the show, or had you done it a long time ago? Let's see if she answers
Cool.
while we're waiting here. And then we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
And so we'll come back in to the group and we'll check and see what people said.
Yeah.
That's so
And
much
share the
fun.
link as well.
Yeah, we'll make sure we
And
post
share
the link as soon as we finish this show. We'll post the link in. Geez, I don't know.
It's Monday.
You know, it's Monday.
Sometime.
That's right. It's Monday. Yeah, and I
It's
was at
always Monday when
5:30
we're
or
doing
something.
it.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's our excuse. It's always Monday. Whatever happens, happens.
We might have lost
Okay.
Paula.
Well,
Okay.
wait.
There she is.
Deborah Mills.
Oh, Deborah did it too.
9 for physical touch, 7 for acts of service, some quality time, then words of affirmation and gifts. Again,
Well,
on the
we're all very
bottom.
similar.
She just did it now.
9 for Deb. Like
I think so,
A
too.
9 for Deb? Oh, there's no question.
Yes.
Physical touch?
Yeah.
No question, girl.
I'm over here.
And Paula did it the other day.
Nice.
So
yeah.
when you see Deborah Milne,
And
anyone who knows
the
her, give
access
her a hug.
service. Yeah, no kidding. Everyone hug Deborah. And the access service, because she does do that. She's constantly giving to people. And,
Yeah.
and I don't mean giving people gifts. She's, her services, right? Constantly there
Yeah.
to help people. So
And that's interesting.
it makes sense.
Because I know Paula, her top one is acts of service as well, and she's that way too.
Yes.
She's always wanting to give and help and be there for people. So
It'll be
You know?
interesting. I'm thinking too, a lot of the Circle Tribe will have a lot of those similarities in the top 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think so, because that's a true affirmation of building a tribe.
yeah,
You bring in like-minded women,
Yeah.
right, or
Mhm.
men. And when you see something like this, it kind of just reiterates. There's another new comment, 2 more comments under there.
well, here we go.
Oh, Deborah.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
All right.
Kissing you on the cheek, and then you'd have the physical touch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna wrap
Here,
it up.
Deb. Here, Deborah. Here. Mwah. I don't even know where the camera is up there.
Oh my gosh. Lots of love going on for February. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining. Recommend people to come into the group if you want so they can watch this. We'll be putting it up on YouTube also if you miss any of the shows. And some people there too. Subscribe
Awesome.
to it. We'd love it.
Have a great
Bye,
day.
everybody.
Great day.
Bye.